we are into AROHAN 2024, the fourth lecture series. So it is a great initiative started by our Honorable Principal Secretary, Sri Shrikar MS IAS. So it is a platform to share the best practices adopted in polytechnics and various innovative practices. And also uh, the faculty who have published books, papers in international seminars, conferences, conducting invited lectures, workshops, etc. So I take it's a great privilege for me and honor to welcome our Honorable Principal Secretary to Government Higher Education, Government of Karnataka, Sri Shrikar MS IAS, our Honorable Commissioner, Department of Collegiate and Technical Education, Sri Jagdish G IAS, our Honorable Director, Department of Technical Education, Sri Prasanna H IAS, our Joint Director, CDC, Sri Srikant G, all the officials of the Department of Technical Education, all the principals, HODs, faculty, and students who have joined this VC. So today we are starting with our first speaker. So our first speaker today is Madam Kasturi Kota, Head of HR, Bengaluru and HRBP Global for Product and Technology at Taylor and Francis Group. She will be speaking on essential workplace skills to enhance productivity. Just a brief uh, biography of Madam Kasturi Kota. Is as a transformational and visionary in HR and business consultation, Kasturi Kota has an impressive experience of nearly 24 years in global setups and global initiatives across human resource functions, business, and strategy. She has a consistent record of initiating and operations setting operations in startups to mid-size organizations with a knack of compliance and statutory related issues, employment branding, and DE&I initiatives. She has ensured successful completion of projects. Besides being bestowed upon with various awards and recognitions, the most recent ones being DIVHER, Diversity Champions, issued by her key. She has been invited to various panel and roundtable discussions and contributor for thought leadership meets. A distinguished alumna of the Indian Institute of Management, Bengaluru, she is passionate about the HR profession and finds a way to pay it forward to the fraternity. Thus, has taken up a role as Honorable Secretary of NHRD Bangalore chapter for the term 2023-2025. Kasturi Madam is currently the head of HR Bangalore and HRBP Global for Product and Technology at Taylor and Francis Group, where she has built her identity as a mentor and developer of talent acquisition, talent management programs to support continuous improvement in productivity, performance, and culture. She has an additional role of associate chair for the DE&I Council at Taylor and Francis Group. So today she will be speaking on the essential workplace skills to enhance productivity. Over to you, madam.
Firstly, thank you so much, and it's so pleasure to be here at AROHAN, and it's such a good and great initiative of bringing all the knowledge makers together to nurture the upcoming talent. Wow, it's such a great platform, and my pleasure to present what I understand as the upcoming trends. from the various sources that we have been referring to, and it'll be great to have a great amount of conversations. Sir, can I share my screen? Should I be doing
Sure,
this?
madam. Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Share, madam.
Okay, let me just do that. Is my screen shared? You see?
Yes, yes, madam.
Okay, thank you so much.
In view mode.
Bill Owens once said, "A strong economy begins with a strong, well-educated workforce." How true isn't it? And I'm here talking to all the enabling people behind creating the educated workforce. Thank you so much. And it's truly a honor to be amongst all of you. And in the current trailing times, what we are also looking at, and there's so much of changes and economical and political trends that are determining various trends. So I kind of felt it's a great opportunity not to just limit from an organization that I'm working for or that I'm kind of associated. Rather, try and bring in some perspective which are globally trending, if I might do so. Yeah. There were some of the references that I had taken from some research and some of the research papers and some reference materials. So I thought it would be great to bring in here. And there might be some information that I might not be completely equipped with, but then I just have a fair amount of understanding. If there's something that you would like to dwell upon more in detail, we can always connect over and understand and share our thoughts as we go by. Just to begin with, how the trends have changed. I mean, from a LinkedIn jobs rise perspective, the last 2 years, and I'm sure 2023 would have seen slight different, but then not so much difference is what many of my peers do talk about. Although this is data for fag end of 2022 and the early 23 determination, where we are looking at the kind of roles that are enabling. I mean, I'm sure from being from the technical knowledge industry, you might be more excited to see how technology and IT is contributing for trend setting for jobs. We have seen a slight change. I mean, we have seen a slight dip in the market, but it still continues to be the third largest source of employment generation, while sales and customer engagement happens to be leading. What does this call out is also, whatever that we are developing and enabling, I mean, ultimately there should be a market to, sell, and somebody should be able to consume. And unless that isn't there, I'm sure when there isn't a market need that has been developed and catered, rest of all the functions might become secondary. Also, this is a glimpse from World Economic Forum's report that was published in late October 2023. How they are looking at the trends that are changing, how close to around overall globally we are looking at almost around 700 million employees. How there is outliers that are creating. I mean, there is some set of jobs that we end up losing, so it becomes obsolete, and there are some set of jobs that are rising. So it's also a trend that people do talk about, when the jobs that are obsolete is lesser than jobs that are getting created. If it is going to be more, then the economy is kind of flourishing, but then we do see a reverse for the next 5 years. So the obsolete jobs are becoming more and more faster growing than creation of jobs. One of the prime notion, or one of the prime contributor for such a situation could be Any guesses rather than I tell? Any guesses? What could be the reason for such change? Sorry, I'm not able to see anyone because I'm on the presentation mode. Hello?
Yeah, participants kindly, I mean, they have been actually not
No,
given
sir,
that
I
access.
have changed it.
Changed, huh? Okay.
Anybody can respond.
Oh, that's so nice. Sorry. I mean, what could it be that why this trend is changing? The jobs that are become, I mean, the obsolete jobs are faster than the creation of jobs. Any one reason? Well, I mean, one of the prime contributor for this is the kind of Gen AI and AI focus that we are all getting into. I mean, the next generation. Sorry, was someone trying to talk?
No, madam, carry on.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, so the Gen AI, so that's one of the key contributor. And second, with all the unrest that the global economy is seeing, with all the political unrest that we're seeing, there are many things that have also influenced in terms of how those job trends and job markets get affected. And we are also, and I'm sure all of us are aware that how European markets are all facing economic crisis and witnessing slow and steady recession being hit one after the other economy. So all of these are kind of helping in job creation and displacement in a different pattern. But yeah, that's where that's the way the economy is leading, and then that's where we are. Perhaps in some of the economies it is more influencing, and in some of the economies it is less influencing, but then that's where we are heading towards. While all of that trend is there, I mean, this was something that really caught my attention while just reading through the survey, is if we were to look at what kind of jobs that are going to be raised against what kind of jobs that will start seeing into the obsolete, it is such an alarming state. We are looking at jobs that are raising, which are going to be more skill enabled, and we are kind of getting into an obsolete place where we are looking at what was so called a white collar job with a clerical aptitude of mind. So those are the ones which are in the biggest trend of becoming obsolete. So which also creates us an opportunity to evaluate what is our skill landscape as. And apart from having hard skills such as technology, or someone learning about machinery, someone learning about automobile, what is also quite important and very relevant as we look into the landscape out here is it's also about soft skills, which are also playing a much crucial role than just acquiring hard skills. While analytical thinking and creative thinking are one of the crucial methods, and therefore, unless we don't nurture the thinking mind, we don't grease those thinking mind, it isn't going to give us those innovative ideas. So in total, if we were to look at, this is the time of innovation, and then how are we building an opportunity for younger workforce to become more and more innovative, more and more creative? What is the ecosystem that we create in terms of enabling all of ourselves? I mean, I'm sure being part of Gen X or millennials or even baby boomers, we might have all worked in a different pretext and a different conditions which are prevailing, that having a job, having a direction of what has to be done and how it has to be done was quite prescribed in a prescribed manner. But right now, with the younger generation coming, we are looking at how their reasoning power is so very powerful. They are so informed. They are so very adventurous. So therefore, nurturing that creative bent of mind and innovative bent of mind becomes more and more important. While also at the same time, with all of this, leading to a kind of instant gratification and instant set of activities that they perform. So it also becomes important that we get our generation equipped with all those softer skills of being resilient and how flexible they are and how agile they are, and what kind of social influence that they can take on. So, and then how much of empathetic skills and active listening skills are all being acquired. So these are all eventually increasing its spot. Perhaps they were on the outliers or much lower on the graph. I haven't seen the past graph, but then we see more and more representation of these skills prevailing and coming up. And from an organization standpoint, we find it so relevant that we imbibe all of these things into any kind of policy making or any kind of practices that we design, any interventions that we implement are imbibing all these softer skills as well. While we are also talking about all this, it is also another important element that how inclusive we are. When I say inclusive, it is not just from the gender inclusivity, but it is also from how are we ensuring differently abled people are all included. And then it is also said that the kind of disability that is seen is much lesser than the unseen disabilities. And then the world trend has recognized 21 such disabilities which are prevailing. Overall, all of these are also being ensured that when we are coming up and designing any kind of policies and practices, we are also considering the accessibility of all of such things. So make it more and more inclusive in work culture. And all of this will not be able to make it if there is no empathy and if there is no, the humane skills that are being developed. So it is so important that during your technical formative education system that all of you are contributing, it is also important that you imbibe these softer skills also to your curriculum, and then make it. I mean, while those are formative and grooming stages, so it's so important that those skills are also being supported. I would like to take a break here and then just see if there is any thoughts for reflection from anyone in the audience. And I hope I wasn't too fast in putting forward my thoughts.
So anybody has any query, you can
Query or
ask him.
thoughts and
Thoughts
what
or anything.
what do you all think? I mean, does this make sense? Do you see this coming? Because you're more closer to the Gen Z, workforce that are getting groomed. Do you see this relevant?
So I don't think so. They have any thoughts in this regard.
All right.
Okay. Anyway.
Oh, all right.
Okay.
So, no,
Sir, someone
has raised his hand.
Oh,
Who?
nice. Sir, I'm not able to see the screen because I'm on sharing. So do I
Sharing,
come
yeah.
out of sharing and then, yeah, so that I just look at.
Hello, Madam, I'm Usha here from
Hi.
School of
Oh,
Mines.
yeah.
Yeah, it was nice hearing from you. Like, yes, we see that there's a lot of advancement in technology, and because of that, we see a lot of change and dynamicity coming into our lives. But our country still, like, we still are. What I understand is we still fit into those kinds of traditional kind where those jobs are getting obsolete. uh, what changes should we adopt to come across these kinds of what?
Very well said, ma'am. I mean, that's a very nice question. So if we go back to the graph, you did see that the major part is still the ones which are active, the blue color, right? It's still active. And you're right. Our country still contributes to a major set of that jobs which are in the blue space. But then the trends are so fast changing. I mean, it may not take many years for those jobs to become obsolete because we have been so much into these process oriented. I mean, perhaps our economy saw a great upliftment because of IT boom and then the BPO boom and things like that. But then there are many things that are getting replaced, aren't they? So therefore, it is important to remain relevant on in terms of assessing what are the different changes that are going on in the economy, and then see where is that we can try and get our students and our young kids more equipped. How relevant can we get their study pattern determined? So these are also an important element. And now when it comes to the the job in the organizations, we are also inculcating the thought that reskilling is a continuous process. It just can't go away from once we have a job, oh, it's all done. No, it can't happen. Reskilling has to happen, and we need to keep updating ourselves. So that curiosity has to be nurtured, ma'am. I mean, that's such an important element to ensure that how much informed they are on the trends. What kind
Very
of
well said, madam. Very well said. Because like once a person gets a job, they think everything is settled. But
Yes.
this rescaling or upskilling is very much required in these days. I agree on that.
Absolutely. And that is only possible if that curiosity is inbuilt in them from the early days. So that's exactly. And then during our induction programs as well, we keep telling them that, okay, this is what you're being given, but then you will have to continue to explore on different other, departments, different other domains, and then keep that exploration on. So this is what we keep imbibing, if that makes sense.
Yes, madam. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else have any thoughts? It'd be nice to listen out. I hope I'm not too fast
No,
and
madam.
I'm making some
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I will
You
go
can
back to my slide deck because I've gotten some more data there. So while we are on this, so this was another important element that I thought it would be good to bring in here. Although as an economy, we might be a little more slow in catching up, but then it's sooner the better, right? I mean, we are also talking about how we can be trend leaders in 6G, and how UPI has become a great testimony of our technology advancement and things like that. So we never know when we are equipped to take a long leap and then take this forward. And this one particular element is very close to my heart. So then I thought, let me bring this. We are also looking at how the hiring trends have increased for green jobs. We've heard about blue collar jobs and gray collar jobs, white collar jobs, and all of that. How green jobs are taking precedence, and then we can see on the overall hiring rate how green jobs have slowly made their highest presence. Now, what are these green jobs? These green jobs are essentially the jobs which are working towards creating sustainable means of, natural resources, or sustainable means of. Every organization that is looking at can look at how we can ensure that sustainability is well maintained, sustainability is upheld, sustainability is not negotiated. It is part of our vision statement. So these are all the trends that have happened. I can give an example of my own organization where we are into publishing, right? We are into academic publishing. And it is highly research and scholarly publishing that we do, and it is more than a 2.5 century old organization that we are. There are many things that we have moved from being physical to electronic. At the same time, there are many things that we continue to print because we are in the business of books. But what is that we could minimize? How is that we can increase our goal of reducing carbon footprints? So we said, okay, books is something that is our business. We can't reduce that. But then can we do away with, say, plastic packaging or extra packaging that is an unnecessary layer? Or when we are doing any kind of a book release or anything where we don't really wrap them in all of those sophisticated book wrappers and reduce them, how we can look into the reusable components that can be brought into our book publishings. So these are all the different elements that have been brought into, and then these thought process are imbibed into the business goals and visions and KPIs, so that it is seriously taken and driven. So this is another important trend that is picking up in large corporates. So because in India, at least in Bengaluru, we are looking at large technology global capability centers that are we simply have to implement those practices. So that way we are kind of catching up the trend of what is happening in the Western world, which is a little more advanced than we are, and in many fields we are far advanced than many of the other developed nations. So this is another important element, and it would be, I would strongly advocate if such elements are also brought into your, regular curriculum. I mean, I'm sure there are many, programs where you would also imbibe those socio cultural activities that has to be brought in. When I say socio-cultural activities, not just as a fun day or a kind of a cultural fest. I'm more bringing it from if a program that can be enabled, how your students are making or giving it back to the society or back to the planet. So if these things are also imbibed, it becomes easier for them to adapt when they get onto the workforce. So I just wanted to bring this perspective so that we know how trends are fast changing. And on the same thing, I mean, this was just a report that I read last Saturday, and I felt, okay, this will be the right time when I can also bring in, while we spoke about the green jobs increasing, BCG, this is Boston Consulting Group, which is one of the very famous or one of the 4 largest consulting organization, have started putting framework within which the future economy will grow. So if we were to look at, all of these four framework, I mean, technological boundary, I am sure none of us need any so much of deliberation. We all understand it very well. What is also, the other three elements that are quite supportive is the social foundation and planetary boundary. Planetary boundary is what we spoke about, how the green skills are becoming more relevant and how, that is getting imbibed into. I mean, in fact, on my personal capacity in my organization out here from TNF Bengaluru, we have designed an initiative called Green Prints, and how we are bringing people to become more aware of, and how we can tie a work anniversary celebration to get replaced with plantation of saplings, and thus contribute to carbon footprint reduction that overall as a SDG goal that we follow in Taylor and Francis. So these are all some of the elements that are getting imbibed into, and then we start seeing that this is how the economy is also trying to flourish as we come by. And in the same report, I did see how the skill set of the future was listed down, and I didn't want to disrupt the language that was presented, so therefore I really took a screenshot of the same thing and presented here. I have shared this slide deck with Dr. Rajshekhar. I mean, one could feel free to contact him to take this reading. So what this also talks about is the existential capabilities and mindsets and habits as one of the skill set that becomes so imbibed into our thing. And bionic skills is more from technology driven, and where it is right now when we say technology driven, it is but obvious AI enabled as well. And what is another important element that we will have to consider is it is the time for creativity. It is the time for innovation. It is more relevant than ever before. So because there are many things that can get automated, there are many things that AI can replace human with, but where is human making a change? A human is making a change with their creativity. AI, at least it has not come to the stage that it is currently, where it can create, it can be creative as a human mind. So we still have a lot to achieve there, and be there to nurture that creativity within us. And then comes the human to human, team focus and community focus skills. And I say community focus skills, I mean what I was saying about giving back to the society or the planet. And team skills, it is so important because the younger generation, we all, I'm sure as we all crib about, they're so clocked to their mobiles or gadgets. So, I mean, they fail to have that social skills as naturally as we perhaps would have had in our younger days. So those are some of the skills that we have picked up for, because we have employed several Gen Zs, in recent years, and then their induction was more about these skills than their technical skills that we wanted to enable them with. So this is also becoming one of the important skill set that we are all looking at. While this is the trend that the whole global economy is looking at, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm trying to bring the whole global perspective out here. Maybe it was more relevant for us to know, or it could also be that it is just a preempt at this point in time, just for us to be more, curious, perhaps, and then ensure that curiosity is driven down to our younger workforce. So what is in it for India? In India, we are looking at putting Japan and Germany behind, and then taking it over to be the third largest economy, and move from 3.5 trillion to 7 trillion in the next set of 7-8 years. But what has contributed predominantly for this kind of growth? the 3 pillars of growth have been recognized as the global offshore setup, or what we it's a new name or new trend to call it as GCCs, Global Capability Centers. So the huge multinationals which have set up here, that will continue to nurture us. There are, organizations which are looking at different avenues, right? I mean, they are looking at much cost-effective economies than India, because we are becoming more and more costlier. But it is important at this time we continue to, leverage on the scale that we can offer, because our workforce, our sheer population becomes an advantage for us. While the scale is an opportunity for us, can we also imbibe that innovative thinking, creative thinking, and that curiosity imbibed into our workforce, our Gen Z, so that when they hit the workforce, we continue to leverage the scale that we still are in an advantage spot. And I think the true example for digitalization is the UPI and several other things that are coming to the sectorial development within logistics and infrastructure. Investments. And the other important element, and recently there were several such series that are also coming up, is the energy transition. We all know how the economy is looking forward for the advantage that we have with the solar ability. How much of that leverage that can we take, while we have one of the main product of sunshine which is available, but then there are many other raw materials which we still depend on different economies. But still we are looking forward for energy transition as one of the other key pillar, because eventually oil and gas is going away, and then there should be some alternative energy that has to come in, and we have investing quite heavily on that. So I'm sure the technical skilling that you roll into would be contributing a great amount in all of these skilling programs. So with that, I thought I would give my perspectives to an end for this session. As the famous saying by our father of nation, Mahatma Gandhi, goes, the future depends on what we do in the present. So we're all here to celebrate our bright future ahead of us. And thank you for
Thank you, madam.
all the support that you're giving with enabling our new set of workforce.
Yeah, definitely, madam. That you are given a complete overview of the jobs perspective, which are global trending, and the job scenarios. And I was stressed on the analytical and critical thinking mind, which is the time for innovation. The younger generation has to be very innovative.
Yeah.
And the overall evolving skills as the landscape for up to 2027. You have beautifully summarized that. And another important thing, empathy and human skills has to be developed. And along with that, softer skills also is very, very essential. And reskilling, upskilling, and definitely the green jobs with green prints, you have stressed on that.
Yeah.
The skill set of the future, definitely, madam. This will all help our faculty to put across to the students, and definitely it will go a long way in imbibing that thought process what you have initiated, and the work with skills which would definitely enhance the productivity. Thank you, madam. Thank you. This talk is being recorded, and we are going to put it on our website. And our other missing faculty who are not able to join, they will be watching this, and they'll be putting across the queries. I will forward those queries to you.
Sure,
Yeah.
sir. My pleasure.
Yeah.
And I will touch base with you before the recording is posted because
Oh.
so that we could just take a look at.
Yes,
before
yes,
it-
ma'am. Sure, sure. Thank you, madam. Thank you,
so
and
much.
accepting our request and coming
My
over
pleasure.
and speaking.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sir.
So I'm extremely sorry for the viewers. Have a technical glitch in the Lata madam could not present, but we will come back to her. Now we will go to the next speaker. Our today's next speaker is Dr. Panduranga HT, and he will be speaking today on research and its publication roadmap for diploma faculty. Panduranga sir, actually, he joined the department in 2008, and he has done his BTech from PS Mandya College, MTech from MCE Hassan, PhD from University of Mysore. So to his credit, he has published textbooks in embedded systems, and he has presented papers at national and international conferences, and he has conducted workshops, and he has visited has given invited talks, and has also been as a resource person, and he has organized short-term training programs in skill training for handloom jacquard design, 2-week program, and the other activities being reviewer for 4 journals and few IEEE conferences, to his credit. And he has a very lengthy profile. Sir, welcome to you for today's session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for a nice introduction. Okay. I going to use 2 login. This is one
Yes.
my login,
Okay.
and also I am going to use for the presentation
Yes.
another login. Please cooperate. So I will.
Sir, you have our time. Will have 20 minutes you take, sir, to speak.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Sure. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
And okay. And you can use blend of English and Kannada. No
Okay. Sure, sir.
problem. Yes.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ನಾನು ಡಿಪ್ಲೊಮೊ ಕಾಲೇಜಲ್ಲಿ ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ ಆಗಿ ಬೇಲೂರು ಪಾಲಿಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನೌ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್. Is the screen is shared, sir?
Yes, sir, it is shared.
Yes.
Just move to PPT slide.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for the organizer for accepting me as a resource person for this technical talk. As we know, there is the demand or requirement for the research publication in Polytechnic also for the purpose of CAS and other the promotion activities and overall requirement of the CAS. Okay. So anything, if we want to do some research, then if someone to handhold, if we get something support, then it will be easier for us to do the research. This is the initial way. The outline of my presentation will be like importance of research, why we need to do the research, and how to find the research problem, and importance of research importances or interdisciplinary research importances, and document process. So finally, the question and answer along with the conclusions. Okay, if you look at this slide, this I have copied from one IIT professor. He was giving in the year 2016 the comparison, like how the or where India stand with respect to the publication. With respect to the publication and patenting, the China is almost leading in the world. These are the statistics like China and USA and India. Approximately the 68% of the publication is done by the non-residents of India, and number of publications will be very less. They will publish in the quality journal. That total amount of publication, it leads to around 15.8%. We may be in the 5th position with respect to the quality publication, or with respect to the number of publication, we are still lagging. So now, if we consider all the polytechnic staff publish one publication per year, then the total number of publications by the Indians will be increases. So that by our sake, ನಮಗೋಸ್ಕರ ನಾವು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕ್ಯಾಸಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ದ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್. So other thing is the patents. Why we need to do the research means the research either it may lead to a publication or the research may lead to a product, and also the part of a product may be sometimes it will be like a patenting. So it is also in the year 2019 these statistics or a graph will be, but now also we are even at the lower end of this graph. So our importance, if we do some research and publication and patenting, that will help to the nation for GDP progress. In that manner, we have to do some research. So in our context, as a polytechnic staff, what is the criteria or why we have to do the research or a publication? So there is in the 7th pay, there is a equivalence for PhD. For example, if any promotion or a points to be done in the CAS, then there is a requirement of a publication. The alternatively, the equivalence of PhD has been noted. This is the one document in 7th pay Gazette notification of Government of India. From that, in that reference, I am showing that what do you mean by research publication, where we have to do the publication. That has to be in the SCI journal or a UGC listed journal we have to publish, or AICTE journals. Simply publishing in a local publication, it may not be counted for our CAS or any other points or credentials. So then we have to think before publishing where we have to do the publications. And what do you mean by the equivalence of PhD? Or whenever there is a criteria for the selection process of a faculty, during that time for some category like an HOD or a principal, there is a mandatory that PhD is compulsory or equivalence for PhD. If somebody faculty already having more than 20 plus years of experience, he may not be able to find a guide or something, then they can opt for a equivalence or for PhD. During that time, he can, if he is able to publish 5 journals with an impact factor more than 2, then that will be totally considered as a equivalence of a PhD. This is one manner. Another way is if a person is able to get a 2 patents, then that also be considered as an equivalence for PhD. For the second option, maybe both the options are very well defined for the polytechnic staff, because nowadays we don't have an option for full-time PhD, or in the case of entrepreneurship pathway, there is a possibility to do the product development, and also the patenting provision has been given. Okay. The second point with respect to patenting, there is a policy in the national level, National Innovation and Startup Policy in the 2019. It is the combination of UGC, AICTE in the MHRD, or now it is a Ministry of Education. They have already given the permission to for the faculty to start a startup, or the combination of the faculty and the student can start a startup. Thereby, the patenting can be done. That will be utilized as a equivalence for PhD during the this. For all these things, the research is a mandatory. So as per this policy, there is some norm for the faculty to do the startup. Alone a faculty can do, or alone the group of faculties in the same institution, or maybe a nearby institution, or maybe even the alumni of that college, or alumni of the all consolidated diploma students. That can be considered by using by reading the proper studying of these things. That is possible to start a startup, or to start the patenting process also. And there is a provision in the Ministry of ITBT from Government of Karnataka. They have done some engineering research development policy in the year 2021. So there are some provision for funding, or some provision for internship for the student. Some funding will be there. By using those funding, the faculty can plan for their laboratory setup or research, those kind of things. There's a provision. But to do that, we should have our own improved biodata, or a number of publications. We should have the proof of work. So then only we can get uh, the proper funding. And there is another policy called Karnataka Startup Policy in the year 2022 and up to 27. So they have the criteria, they are planned to set up a incubation or a startup center to give the space by spending crores of money in the selected area of Karnataka, even in the government institution like Government Engineering College, or well established Government Polytechnic also. But we need to interact with, or we have to do some correspondence with the ITBT ministry and the Department of Technical Education. Then there is a possibility to set up the research facility, laboratory, outstanding facility can be done. In this, on demand, there is a possibility of virtual incubation and mentorship concept platform can be created with the collaboration of a PPP mode, like private-public partnership, or the government between inter ministerial cells, those kind of things. For these also, we need to do the research supporting document to be done. This is a few document how the government of Karnataka is planning to set up some incubation centers inside Karnataka. And this is some supporting document. They are planning to invest around 5 crores in the root level, grassroots level innovators to technically upgrade the thing. This is I am showing for the proof of the document where we can start the research. So for all the faculties, there will be in mind how to start a research and what will be the problem. So there are two methods, like a bottom-up approach and top-down approach for finding a problem, and also for finding the or to start a journey with the research. So for example, if we are in a electronics branch, then we have to choose either an analog electronics, or a digital electronics, or an embedded system. Like this will be called as a bottom-up approach, or maybe a signal processing if it is a single dimensional or a multi-dimensional signal processing, like that. Or if we come from the top-down approach, what are the present conferences are going on, how they are, what are the special areas they are concentrating, whether can I go and select some problem within that particular area. For an example, like a battery management system, BMS, we can call it as, how that problem I can take it, whether it is relevant for my branch or not, or whether it is an interdisciplinary or a cross-disciplinary. Then who will guide if I get some problem in between while the journey. So if we follow the bottom-up approach, we will going to get multiple resources, and our confidence level will be more if we go in the bottom-up approach. But if the confidence level will be very less if we follow the top-down approach. The combination of the bottom-up approach and the top-down approach of finding a research and doing a research with the help of a proper guide, then he will be the researcher will be in the safe zone. Okay, then the interdisciplinary research importance, like there are a lot of unsolved problem or open problems are there in the case of combination of medical and engineering research, and in music signal processing or music therapy, energy system and maintenance, even with respect to the MBA degree or a commerce degree or a arts, science, basic degrees, there are different possibilities for getting a research problem. Even in the embedded, or if we are thinking in a mechanical, then maybe a vibration or a um, uh, 3D printing. Can we have an indigenous technology for a 3D printers, additive manufacturing, or in the civil branch, if we consider uh, like a automation of the construction in the at a faster rate, what are the different the present scenario, or if we consider as a teaching as a technology, can we do some PhD or a research publication in the uh, teaching aspect of technology delivery. Those kind of thing can be done. So there are several research problems are available. Then, so how to do the documentation process while finding the research problem or in the journey of the research. So, we have the facility, like a Google is having a lot of information. There we can get a direct search, or with the help of Google Scholar, we can go for a specific type of search. And even if we can search at the IEEE, Springer, and elsewhere, there is one Indian website called as a Shodhaganga. It is maintained by the UGC. They are maintaining the all PhD theses published under all the universities inside India. So Shodhaganga is a resource treasury of PhD thesis. And ePrints it is a worldwide standard. Universities are maintaining the publications within that library or ePrint. There we can get. And publication types, in generally, when we are at the beginning end of the research, then where to publish our content. So now there are several stages of publication, whether when we publish without any publication number or a ISBN number, international standard book number, or a series of as similar to the lecture series, there will be a series of publication. ISSN number will be allotted, or ISBN number, and some conference proceedings will be there with ISBN number or without ISBN number. If we publish in anything without ISBN or an ISSN number, then it is not accountable. So then we have to think for we have to publish an ISBN number or an ISS number. Then the improved version of that one will be like whether it is a conference proceedings, or whether it is a journal publication, or whether it is in the thesis format. That we have to decide, or in the book format also. So then whether the conference or a journal, whether it is an indexed journal or whether it having some impact factor, based on your quality of research, that will be counted. So due to the comparison between you and with your competitor, there should be an indexed conference or indexed journal that will be valuation of that publication will be more as compared to the normal publication. So those will be considered during the evaluation of your research or a PhD. As we already come across that, if we publish 5 journal paper with impact factor greater than 2, then that will be considered as equivalence for PhD. Okay, research paper structure in general, we can call it as an art of writing. So this slide can be extended for 1 more hour in detail, but now for the brief for the beginners, there will be an abstract introduction to that particular publication, or maybe as per your research interest, and then the literature review where you have collected the information and what is your uh, proposed information, a proposed work that should contain some block diagram or a flow chart or an equation or results or some graphical or comparison between some existing method of evaluation or your proposed method, how it is different from the existing thing. Like that comparison has to be done. And finally, how your work is different from the others, that you have to do the conclusion. And then the references. This is the structure of a research paper. So then document process. Before going in detail with this, I will show some of the thing. So while research public means, for example, how you are going to search. If you type in a Google Scholar, then that will going to leads to uh, the content. It will showcase the number of publication and how many number of the readers or who are cited your paper. In near future, there will be a concept of H index, I10 index, number of citation. Based on all these things, your quality of research will be considered. So, for example, the publication in the IEEE Explore, okay, these are some of the publications. And even in the case of elsewhere publications, and as I said, in the Shodha Ganga, so you can take that the publications like some of the Shodha Ganga will be going to reflect your papers. So this will be consisting of a PhD report. Okay, and as I said, I typed like e-prints IAC, then we can go for a e-prints where you can search the publications in the IAC. So these are the different kind of resource you can get. So now I will go back to my presentation.
Sir, you will
So
take another 5 minutes, sir?
sure, sir. Sure.
Oh, okay, fine.
Documentation process. So when we are doing our research, then we should plan how our document should be. Either can we do the documentation in the Microsoft Word, or maybe LaTeX is the in one type of documentation which is with the help of programming or some syntax will be there. If you learn the LaTeX kind of thing, then it will be easier for you to do the documentation. So I will show some other part of the documentation, like so this is the document. The format is different. So these type of formats will be done easily using the LaTeX documentation. By using LaTeX documentation, there are different kind of patterns. In some journal, their structure will be different. In some journal, their structure or the some content will be different. So, Google Drive, how we are going to manage our publications, or how we have to maintain the different kind of publication. Now, the thing is, we need to audit our research work, or we should have our own vision and mission to complete our research. Okay. So before that, I will showcase some thing. Okay. So here I will give you the outline. I think it is visible. So we should have a plan for publishing the initial 1 year review papers, then experimentation, then improved version of publication, then thesis write-up and patenting, and we can plan for invited talk to the conferences, and we can plan for the patent. Year-wise, what is this month what I supposed to do, next month what is my work, and I should give the rating according to my performance. Then I can judge whether I am in the right direction or not, or percentage of completion, and how can I improve in near future. These kind of auditing can be done. This is like a weekly chart, yearly and monthly chart that will show our target as well as the performance. So like 24, 25, 20. This kind of planning should be there, and weekly plan and daily plan, depending upon your area of interest and the documentation. Okay, now I will go again to this. If any question, please.
Yeah, you can go for one question.
Yes, sir.
You have anybody has a question? One question, sir will take.
I think I was bit faster.
No, sir. Actually, yeah, you are correct. You are as usual. Yes, fine, sir. Fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sir, thank you for giving this wonderful
Yeah, I have
talk
one
on
more slide for
one more
conclusion.
slide. Huh?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So with
The
respect to this,
conclusion.
finally, what as the department, as a individual, what we have to do? There is a need for research cell in technical education and all the institutions. So thereby the research cell, if it is inactive, then the number of publication in Karnataka will improve. If there is a equivalence for PhD, if somebody is planning to do, then IPR cell should be there in the technical education department as well as the institution which is need for it. And also there is the need, essential need for to start innovation and startup policy for student and faculties to be initiated by our uh, Department of Technical Education. Thereby, it will going to give the freedom for the faculties and the student to do the product development and the patenting kind of things. That will initiate the research more. And there should be an collaborative work, like a disciplinary. The faculty from the one department, like a physics, maybe with the electronics, or maybe the electronics engineer with a mechanical, like an automation process, or maybe the faculty from electronics with the textile department to solve some automation of textile machinery, like that. And there should be like a MOU between the higher education as well as the ITBT and the skill and entrepreneurship department. Then the consolidated will give more empowerment for the faculty or the researcher, that will leads to number of publication and patents within Karnataka. Uh, that will improve our GDP, the contribution from the Department of Technical Education, Government of Karnataka. And I thanks for all the listeners and for giving an opportunity from your end. Thank you, one and all, sir. Please.
Thank you, sir. If anybody has got any query, please put it on chat box. So then I will just forward it to Dr. Panduranga for further clarification. Sir, thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Panduranga HD, for giving this wonderful talk on research and its publication roadmap for diploma faculty. Definitely, this talk has helped many of our faculty who wants to pursue research and its publication, and they have given in detail the overall perspective of this. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. So I have shown my contact number as well as mail ID. They can directly contact me also directly.
Okay, okay, sir.
Thanks. Q1 again, sir. Once again.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
So now we'll move on to the next speaker. The next speaker is Mr. Chitra Kumar KV, Senior Lecturer in Civil Engineering, Government Polytechnic, Bantwal. So his talk will be on role of consultancy in institutional development. Shri Chitra Kumar KV has done his diploma in civil engineering from Government Polytechnic, Kushalnagar. Then went on to do his B in civil engineering from JNCC, Shumoga, MTech in industrial structures, SJC, Mysore, and is currently pursuing PhD in structural engineering. So his professional experience being quality audit engineer from Shobha Developer, structural engineer from Sterling Engineering Consultancy, and he has been working as lecturer in civil engineering in Government Polytechnic Bantwal from 2012 onwards. So his areas of interest are structural modeling, earthquake resistant design of structures, advanced concrete technology, alternative building materials for construction, civil engineering material testing, forensic and health monitoring of civil structures. So he is involved in research and consultancy. He is an active consulting member of the college CC Tech for testing and certifying stability, quality, quantity of various government and private projects for various organizations. And is an institutional effort in giving third-party inspections as well. And he has got very good expertise in analysis softwares, drafting tools, and he has been involved in training and placement activities. There are so many other activities as well. Sir, welcome, sir. Welcome to today's talk.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes. Please, over to you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. I can hear.
Okay.
Yes,
Sure.
you got 20 minutes, sir.
Okay, right, sir.
Okay,
Thank
45.
you.
Yes.
Thank you for your sweet introduction. Can this PPT is visible, sir?
Yes, it's visible. You make it full screen, sir.
Okay.
So 6:45, sir. Time. Okay.
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 Right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, good evening to all. Good evening, my dear fellow faculty members. Today is my topic related to role of consultancy in institutional development. It's a team effort which has been made starts from our founder principal, Dr. H.C. Chinigiri Gowda, way back in 2009 and 10. From there, we have joined in the year 2012. From onwards, we have, along with him, we have continued, and right now also we are continuing the same consultancy services to the surrounding in private and government organizations. So let's start with this. A consultancy services, what it means in a technical institution, because there will be so many hindrances for conducting all those consultancy services. So consultancy is the transfer of application of knowledge to address the client and industries who they are approach to us. So consultancy already, it's as you're all well aware that it is different from the research because we need to transfer our existing knowledge and techniques for our industrial present problems. So the service produces a set of deliverables. It may be in the form of drawings. It may be in the form of a set of reports, or it may be in the form of test reports like that. In general, in institutional consultancy services are short in nature. Normally, we can't. It may be in sometimes it may be a long-term aspect also, but as a curriculum also along with us. So we need to look out where it is having a short aspect of services that can be provided. Scope and demand for the consultancy services, as you are well aware that in light of changing economic scenario, government policies and institutional priorities, Institute considers a consultancy project as an important means for broadening the experience base of the Institute community and as a tool for contributing to the country's industrial and economic growth. As a matter of policy, Institute should encourage its faculty members to undertake consultancies works to measure of scientific technical collaboration with outside agencies and industries, appropriate consultancy projects in addition for the providing much needed service to the industry also benefits concerned faculty members and the institute in several ways. It is also enrich the professional experience and knowledge of faculty members to make them a better educators and to that further it can be transferred to the student faculty also. Challenge, what I can say, it is a hindrance to start consultancy services, especially in institute level. There is what I can say from the society or community perspective, it is not aware that all these technical institutions can avail all the services. That is the one problem what I have observed. And it is an institution, each institution has therefore, it has to project their adequate image. That is the first thing what we can do as an from an institutional level. First, we need to approach the surrounding organization. It may be a private or it may be a government organization. We have to express our concerns and what are all the facilities in an institution level we having. We need to project our capabilities. That is the one of the main thing what we need to do, because from our end only it has to start this all this in all this aspect has to be towards the society. Then only they will come back to us for getting further service from our institutions. So to make out all those consultancy services, definitely it requires a good amount of human resource, a qualified lecturer who having industrial knowledge and uh, us to do a community consultancy services, and definitely for testing and other works, field works, a project assistance also required. For preparing consultancy testing reports, a supporting staffs also required. And further to ascertain what are all the fees which is collected so from this consultancy services, that needs to be maintained and well audited. For that also some non-technical staff also required. This can be an organization chart that can be made out of which headed by the institution head towards to the head of the department. From there, it can be shared with respect to the each and every staff, those who are involved with that. Likewise, what I have said earlier. Then to chart out any consultancy services, which has been made out to the surrounding community, we need to first, before making out any consultancy service, we have to chalk out what is the overall expenditure, so that it can be, before taking out any services, it needs to be informed to the client. In that aspect, there is a man hours of the project staff which has been involved in this. TA and DA, if it is having, if the consultant has to visit the site, or he has to visit the spot for a spot inspection, then definitely we need to take out this consideration. Next, cost of inputs, like for a testing, if you are using chemicals or raw materials, or if you are taking out any equipment from the outside, that needs to be taken care. Usage charges for any equipment, cost of stationery, computer charges, administrative charges, and other miscellaneous charges. Along with this, you need to take around 10 to 15% of overhead charges for institutional institution usage. So like this, it has to be a consultancy service charges has to be chalked out. Then to start any service in an institution, definitely you need some sort of qualities. So in this, some of them I have listed out. First one, a technical expertise, a very thorough knowledge with respect to any sort of the consultancy work what we have taken. For that, expert knowledge is very important. And innovation and creative thinking, how best we can make out the present problem that needs to be taken into consideration before starting of any assignments. A flexibility towards the client, that is a very important, even though if they have come up with a different ideas, we need to accept that, and immediately we have to change our approaches. Those type of flexibility also it is required. Then personal charisma, which is very important as a face value in a society, has to be properly maintained with a proper, I would say, professionalism, so that clear-cut services that needs to be transferred to the client, even in any whatever the hindrance it will be there, that has to be taken care while working out any service oriented works. Timely delivery and reliability, that is a more important, as you are all well aware that there is a misconception to the community or industry that if we give any sort of services to the institute, they will take too much time. That the problem has to be taken care from our end, a timely delivery to the assignment what we have taken. Honest, that is very important, not only with respect to the client, but also with respect to the institute. So a
Sir,
honest,
Chitrakumar sir, sorry to interrupt.
yeah.
We are running short of time. So please kindly dwell on the what are the
Okay.
consultancy services you have done. Lot of consultancy services
Yeah,
in the
I'll
institution.
firstly, I will move on to
Yes,
this.
yes. So those are
AS
important for us.
Yeah.
For the viewers.
ASCT also in its GOA in 74, it has mentioned to take care of consultancy services in institute level, and in our fifth pay scale GOA, it has mentioned for teaching staff take up consultancy services along with our day-to-day academic works. So jobs which has taken directly I will move on to the jobs which are taken at our college in GPT Bantwal. We have taken so many from past 10 to 15 years. We have taken structural design, soil testing, construction material testing, total station surveying, third-party certification, bill of quantities, structural stability work, structural health monitoring reports. Those are all the things it has been made. This is one of the sample of testing report certificate we have issued. Likewise, this is the technical review report for a minor irrigation we have provided. Then further to this, a sample of RCC structural drawing to one of the temple near to the locality we have issued. Other to that, one of the medical college, we have issued a steel structural shop drawing for the further work. This is our structural feasibility report into the smart city in Mangalore, along with the testing reports. Likewise, one important aspect of we have done a total station in this that left color, left yellow color total station, which has been procured through this consultancy service to our institute. Our fellow colleague, Mr. Nandi Shemke, he is involved with this, and many of our students has taken to their further professional career in this with this knowledge. Along with this, this is one health assessment report we have provided to the Katil Durga Parameshwari temple. A stability certificate for one of the hospital in Mangalore. Likewise, so many test reports and other consultancy services we have taken to the surrounding society, which not only a private sectors like Purvi Housing, Rohan Corporation, but also some of the government organizations like PWD, KRIDL, Municipal Corporation Mangalore, and central government organizations like Indian Railways, NMPT, MRPL. So, what institution it has been benefited? We have taken our student for a live projects for a site visit. We have upgraded our labs and all, and we have institutional benefit with we have upgraded testing facilities in our testing lab. So here what we need to take care, annual NABL calibration certificate that needs to be maintained, because all the central government and government organization, before coming on to the any testing assignment, they will look out all this calibration certificate. Then one of the institutional development, we have made a 30 kV solar panel, installed a solar panels, and generating solar power to the institution, which has been published in newspaper also. So with this, I conclude whatever the knowledge, ability to apply it is worthless. As you all know, just keeping the knowledge inside the institution itself, it is worthless. Just we need to expand our knowledge towards the society, towards the community. So implementing consultancy in institution enhance the financial stability of the institution, so that we can procure a lab equipment, upgrade our furnitures, and we can support academic activities. It helps faculty members, those who are involved with service, consultancy service, to give a better life example to the students, and improves skills, faculty, public communication, equipment handling, and decision making, and overall personality development also. So service offered benefits the society and the community development, the surrounding. Whatever the revenue generated can be utilized for overall development of the institutional, because the money, not only the money as the aspect for everyone, there is so many other aspects also there beyond this service. One can make out his contribution to the society in a various way. It will help the institution because of one example I can give, because by providing a continuous service to the NMPT and or MRPL, they are able to make a CSR fund for our institution this year. That is a one good thing. Likewise, so many advantages it will be there from a surrounding government, not only a government, or also from the private aspect also. So this is related to the consultancy service. I have for this I have to thank our institution overall, principal, our HOD, and all my fellow colleagues for supporting throughout from the starts from way back from 2009 to till date. Because of their support, we have continued to provide a service to the society and surrounding organizations. With this, I will conclude this session. Thank you. If any question and answers or anything related to the consultancy services, you can take my number, which is available on the screen. Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you, sir,
Rajesh.
Chitrakumar, sir. You have shown a lot of interest in creating consultancy services at institution level, and this has been followed from years together.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I mean, it's truly it's a great internal resource generation as well, and you have highlighted that MRPL has also come forward for CSR funding. So, in turn, by doing these consultancy services, definitely there's a lot of learning happening in the institution.
Yes, sir, definitely.
Can take one question from the audience. If any, I mean, can anybody have any question?
I have a question.
Yes, sir. Sir, welcome, sir. Today, our Principal Secretary, Shrikar sir, has joined. Sir has a question.
Very good, Kevin. I could not come earlier in the network. Just joined. I saw Chitrakumar to saw the presentation. Very good presentation. See, I just want to know, see, the consultancy you're doing, it is, of course, from your presentation, you've done number of consultancies. We should spread across the politics. So, for example, you gave many examples of consultancies undertaken in soil testing and so on. What needs to be done is, I don't know, if you are there, others also you have to see. You create, first you find out in the last 1 or 2 years, the different consultancies that have done across the politics. Some are doing, some are not doing, some are more experienced in it, some have good knowledge. So first create a database. Last 2 years, 3 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು ಯಶಸ್ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆನ್ಸಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಮಾಡಿ. Secondly, then you should have a workshop of in similar areas. They would have different polytechnics. Some would have done in similar areas. You should have bring all of those who have done consultancies, bring them together, have a workshop, bring them together, and then mentor other polytechnics who have not started or who may not have done so much, so that it spreads and it becomes a best practice in most of the consultancies in different areas. That is my suggestion. You should institutionalize it, because as Chitrakumar said, it is a very good tool for the institution as well as for the students' exposure, as well as getting funds from outside. So I think we should take it in a much bigger way. We're learning from all the experiences, getting the group of people who have done consultancy together and chalk out for the others also.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your suggestions, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I think Panduranga sir has raised.
Exactly. Now we'll go to the next speaker, sir. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Actually, Lata madam, due to technical glitch, she could not connect earlier. Madam, if you are connected, kindly present it.
ಸರ್ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರು ಲಾಗಿನ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ.
Madam is logged in. ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಹೋಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಡಮ್.
Yeah, yes, sir. So good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the dignitaries. So you're able to hear, right, sir?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Good evening
Madam,
to
you
all the
10 minutes, just cover up the topic.
presentation. Will you be presenting it up?
Yeah, we'll present.
To start with the presentation, sir. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to all the dignitaries and my dear friends. So coming to automation, as I started previously, automation basically is creation and adoption of technology to produce products with minimum human intervention. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾದ ಡೆಫಿನೇಷನ್ ನಾವು ಕೊಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ಆಟೋಮೇಷನ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ಲೂಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಮೆಕ್ಯಾನಿಕಲ್ ಇಂಜಿನಿಯರಿಂಗ್ ಫಾರ್ 4th semester as well as 5th semester pathway. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಐ ಬಿಗ್ಯಾನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೈ ಇಂಟ್ರಡ್ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as the videos on automation adopted in various fields. So next slide, sir. So automation adopted in various fields. In the video, they were able to visualize how automation is happening in an automobile sector, how automation is happening in an aerospace sector, and also in ASRS sectors. So from this, the students were able to visualize what is exactly automation is and what are the components that are involved in the automation. And as a result, from these videos, the students themselves were able to identify the various components of an automation. Next slide. Next slide, sir. Okay. So as a result, since the students were able to identify the component, they were able to tell us what exactly the components of an automation is all about. So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ automation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, wherein you're providing some kind of input so that the processing will be made and output will be generated. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಏನೇನು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ನ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಸಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೀಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹುಡುಗರೇ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಯ್ತು. So, and as a result, sensors ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ different types of sensors will be used. So how are these sensors used? What will these sensors do? ಈ sensors ಏನ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ different types of sensors ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಯ್ತು. So the sensors will sense the input and pass the signal into the processor. So processor ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಿದೆ ಮೈಕ್ರೋ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲರ್ ಅಂತ processor. So processor will process according to the program that is being provided and produce the output. So output ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ನ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಆಟೋಮೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ, ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮೂಲಕ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಸಾಲಿನಾಯ್ಡ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಅಥವಾ ಮೋಟಾರ್ಸ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಆನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಮೋಟಾರ್ಸ್, ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟರ್ಸ್, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ಸೊ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ವಿಡಿಯೋಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ದ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆನ್ ಆಟೋಮೇಷನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಸರ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡಾಗ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ using the clippings, I could present the student the different types of sensors that are used and for what purpose these sensors are used. So to have an hands-on experience on this, the operation of the sensors. Next slide, sir. I explained them what are the wiring that are required in the sensors. So basically, when you take a sensors, generally we use these proximity sensors, or they may be temperature sensors, or they may be say humidity sensors. So illi on the proximity sensors anta tagondu. Proximity sensor anta tagondaga, generally this proximity sensors will have 3 types of wires that will be considered. One ಬ್ರೌನ್ ವೈರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ವೈರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬ್ಲೂ ವೈರ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಸರ್. So the students were explained how the connection has to be made for the sensors to sense the input. So illen madutte sensors alli a positive, negative ಮತ್ತೆ output ಅಂತ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Positive na positive of the supply connect ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ, negative na negative of the supply ಗೆ connect ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಮತ್ತೆ output na basically we are going to connect it to some kind of output, which may be indicator, or it may be a motor, or it can be a buzzer, anything like that. ಸೊ ಈ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ನ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತು. ಈ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ PLC ಟ್ರೈನರ್ ಕಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ಸೊ ಹುಡುಗರು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರನೇ PLC ಟ್ರೈನರ್ ಕಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ನ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಆ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣನೇ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ. ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಓಪನ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ನಾರ್ಮಲಿ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅಥವಾ ವಿ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಟಾಗಲ್ ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್, ಆರ್ ವಿ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ we may be using some kind of rotary switches, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ಈ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಈ PLC ಟ್ರೈನರ್ ಕಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಸರ್, ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸರ್ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ದಟ್. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಅಂತ, ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ನ ಸಪ್ಲೈಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ನ ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಬಜರು ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡಿಕೇಟರ್ಗೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಇದರಿಂದ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಸೆನ್ಸಸ್ ನ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ನ ಜನರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸಿಯಾ ಸೊ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಈಗ ನೋಡಿ, ಪುಷ್ ಬಟನ್ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಗ್ರೀನ್ ಲೈಟ್ ಆನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಈ ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅದು ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಯಾವ್ದು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಏನ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ವೈರಿಂಗ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೀರಿಯನ್ಸ್ PLC ಟ್ರೈನರ್ ಕಿಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಐ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವೇರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಟ್ ಬೈ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ದೇ ದೆಮ್ಸೆಲ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಿಚಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಈ ಏನು ಎಮರ್ಜೆನ್ಸಿ ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ರೋಟರಿ ಸ್ವಿಚ್, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಮೋಟಾರ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಫ್ಯಾನ್ ಅಥವಾ ಲೈಟ್, ಈ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ನ ಕನೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೇ ವರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಅ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ ಯೂಸಿಂಗ್ ದೀಸ್ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ದಟ್ ಆರ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ ಆಟೋಮೇಷನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್. Similarly, they were also able to build a model regarding controlling the rotation of the motor, that is forward and reversal of the motor. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, they had an hands-on experience on the use of sensors and output devices used in automation, and at the same time using that knowledge they build up their own models also. So ಇದು ಏನು ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಆಪರೇಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಟುಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ವಿಸಿಟ್ ಟು ಮೆಗಾ ಡೈರಿ. ಸೊ ಆ ಮೆಗಾ ಡೈರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಯೂನಿಟ್. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಟೋಮೇಶನ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಏನೇನ್ ಸೆನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಯಾವ್ದು ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇಗಳು ಹೇಗೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. So what happened is a student interrelated what they have learned and what they have practiced with the real-time situations by visiting this industry, which was a mega dairy. Yes, sir. Next, sir. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಡಿವೈಸಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ವಿ. ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ದ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪಾಸ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಡ್, ದ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಟು ಡೂ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಸಿಗ್ನಲ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಗಳು ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸಿಕಲಿ ಇನ್ ಅವರ್ ಆಟೋಮೇಶನ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಯೂಸ್ PLC ladder diagrams. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ PLC ladder diagrams ನ ಬರೆಯೋದು ಹೇಗೆ ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ PLC ladder diagram ಬರೆಯೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆರ್ ದೇ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ರೈಟ್ PLC diagram ಫಾರ್ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಬಟ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ they are able to simulate it using the simulator. And as a result, they are able to experience how an input will work, when an input is sensed, how an output is generated ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕಲ್ತರು. ದೇ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಲರ್ನ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ PLC ಟ್ರೈನರ್ ಕಿಟ್ ಜೊತೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಈಗ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಪುಷ್ ಬಟನ್ ಪ್ರೆಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಬಿ ಬಜರ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಥ್ರೂ PLC ದ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದ ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಜನರೇಟೆಡ್. ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ವಿಜುವಲೈಸ್ ಹೌ ಎಕ್ಸಾಕ್ಟ್ಲಿ ದಿ automation will happen. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ಪುಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಔಟ್ಪುಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು, ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮಿಂಗ್ what they are going to use over there. That is a PLC ladder diagram. How to develop that PLC ladder diagram, how to simulate it and see it, and also how to interface it with the PLC itself and get the output. ಇಷ್ಟೆಲ್ಲ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ರಿಯಲ್ ಟೈಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಆಟೋಮೇಶನ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಹೇಗ್ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಐ ಟುಕ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ITC ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಡಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ವಿಸಿಟ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದೇರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ವಿಜುವಲೈಸ್ ಹೌ exactly an automation system will work, what are the different sensors, how the programming will happen, and how output is generated, the conveyor belt, how to control the movement of these conveyor belts. ಇದೆಲ್ಲದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅನ್ added advantages to them. So from this, that is from the beginning to this industry visit, they were able to know the importance of automation, what are the components of these automation, how these automation components are to be built, how programming has to be made, and so how a system can be automated ಅನ್ನೋದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. Next slide, sir. They also visited TVS training center to know about this automation principle as a real-time process. Then, and ಈ ಆಟೋಮೇಶನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಕಾಂಪೊನೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ HMI ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. HMI ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಟೋಮೇಶನ್ ಸೆಕ್ಟರ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹೇಗೆ ಆ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನಡೀತಿದೆ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಆ ಪ್ರೋಸೆಸ್ ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಕಂಟ್ರೋಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ದೇ ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕಾಲ್ ಇಟ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ HMI. ಸೊ ಈ HMI ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಕೊಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೆಗಾ ಡೈರಿನಲ್ಲೇ HMI ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಅದನ್ನ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ ತೋರಿಸ್ಕೊಡಲಾಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಟ್ ದೇ ವರ್ ಏಬಲ್ ಟು ನೋ how exactly an HMI works. And using all these knowledge, the students themselves developed what we call it as models in their project. And the project anta tagondo the project alli they themselves develop some models. One such model was semi-automatic sorting machine anta madidru. Semi-automatic sorting anta madidru. Adallade they also built up what we call it as HMI itself to know how an automation process happens, to visualize how automation process happens. ಮತ್ತೆ automation process ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಹೇಗೆ ಟ್ರಬಲ್ ಶೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ they were it. So ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ using the knowledge what was given to them, the student themselves developed different say models in their project say classes. ಸೊ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡಿ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರಾಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೆಲ್ಸ್ ನ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಲೈಕ್ ಸಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಷೀನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, HMI ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಇನ್ ಅಡಿಷನ್ ಟು ಇಟ್ ಆಟೋಮ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಕಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಗರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. Another important topic under automation will be robotics. Automation is incomplete without robotics. So robotics also play a very prominent role there. They are basically used to pick and place the object, and also for performing some operations like the welding operations and so on. ಈ repetitive task ಎಲ್ಲಿ ನಡೆಯುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ human requirement ಇರಲ್ಲ, just human energy ನ unnecessary ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದನ್ನ ಓವರ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ and at those places we use what are called as the robots. And also say in a certain situation where the situation is unhealthy in nature, or say for example in a nuclear reactor, ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮನುಷ್ಯನ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ರೇಡಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಂತ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ರೋಬೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ದಿಸ್ ರೋಬೋಟ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಎ ವೆರಿ ಪ್ರಾಮಿನೆಂಟ್ ರೋಲ್. So in this case also the robots and the video was displayed to the students about the robots. So from that they identify the various components of the robot. Then ಆಮೇಲೆ robots ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಯ್ತು. Then robot ಅಲ್ಲಿನೂ basically ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, they require some program over there. They require some program. So a robotic program ಮಾಡೋದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. And that one robologic ಅನ್ನೋ ಸಾಫ್ಟ್ವೇರ್ ನ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು robotic program ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಬರೀಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ತು. So they had exposure to these writing of this robotic program using the robologic software. ಇದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ to get hands-on experience, the students were taken to ITI, and there the students were given hands-on experiences on the working of the robot. Pick and place robot, they practice the pick and place robot also. So how a program is fed into this pick and place robot, and how a robot performs its operation ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಅವರು ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ hands-on experience ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದೇ ರೀತಿ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪಿಕ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್, ವೆಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ರೋಬೋಟ್ ಇತ್ತು. ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ hands-on experience ಸಿಕ್ತು. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಫೀಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ರೋಬೋಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮ್ ತಕ್ಕಂಗೆ ರೋಬೋಟ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಆಪರೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ hands-on experience ಆಯ್ತು. ಸೊ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಟೋಮೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೋಬೋಟಿಕ್ಸ್ ನ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇಂಟರ್ಲಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋದು ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಂತು. ಸೊ ದೀಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ techniques that I adopted to enhance skill in automation and robotics for mechanical students in our polytechnic. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you to all the staff of DTE for giving me this opportunity. And thank you to Rajsekhar sir also for sharing this PPT.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Yeah.
Madam will take one or two questions.
Yes.
Sir has
Any
a question.
queries?
As Principal Secretary sir has a question.
Yes.
Sir, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Since nobody ಯಾರು ಬೇರೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Excellent presentation. Very good exposure, how you're exposing. What was interesting is practically how you're doing it, giving project-based and simulation, and also exposure to taking them out to these industries and giving them this experience. That is a very good method. I think we should adopt it in other polytechnics also. Identify, I'm sure many are doing, identify the relevant industries that can be linked up, and taking our students to exposure visits, trying to do projects with them. I think these are things that should be explored more in a much more fashion. So very good. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Actually, the time limit was less, so otherwise I think it would have come out well, right? But I had some technical issues, and so I had to present it at the end. So
Yeah, no
thank
problem.
you, sir. Thank you for your support, sir. Thank you, Rajsekar, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.